My name is Melinda J.G. Hyman. I am the daughter of Junius L. Wynn. He would be the son of Elizabeth Freeman. She would be the daughter to Emmanuel Freeman Jr. And he would be the son to Emmanuel Freeman Sr., who is my great-great-grandfather, and he is the progenitor of the Freeman estate. Speaking on the elders of the family, when I was about 27, I went to visit my Uncle Oscar Freeman and my Aunt Flossie Freeman, which they lived together in a home in the homestead. So we were talking one day, and he shared the fact that he had something going on with the land with the railroad. So I really didn't understand what he was talking about when he talked about the railroad. So he was very disturbed about it. But as far as I know, I didn't know at that time that they had the timber and all the other stuff, the tobacco and everything. But at that point, he passed a document to me, which was a partition that they were serving on the 69 acres, which was previously 99 3/4 acres. Now, when he gave it to me, I really didn't understand what that paper was about. But he said, there's a possibility it's going to be auctioned. So I went to the courthouse. After my father's death in 1986, I went to the courthouse to check it out, and I paid the back taxes off on that property. So Uncle Oscar had passed that document on to me, and since I found out about the land and the way I found out about it was by mistake. When I was going to pay the taxes on the 69 acres that belonged to Emmanuel Freeman Jr. and William Freeman, when I go to the county clerk's office, the county clerk's deputy says to me, "Are you familiar with the partition case that's going on?" And I said, no, I hadn't heard about it. So she said she wanted to give me the documents. So I took the documents, and I couldn't believe it. When I saw the documents that we had, it was 360 acres more. So I said, well, what's going on with this? And she said, well, your cousin filed a partition. So that's when I started inquiring about it and trying to find out more history about the extra land. So I called my cousin Bill, and I said, did you know? In fact, I called all my cousins, and I said, do you know that we own 360 more acres of land? And they were like, no, I didn't know that. But I do remember Uncle Oscar taking me on the back of the 8.22 acre parcel where Aunt Flossie Freeman and Oscar Freeman lived. That was the homestead. They would take us, he took me on the back and said, let's go for a ride. We went for a ride, and I saw all these trees. And I was like, okay, there's trees. I never knew, he never explained that this is our farm. He said this is where the old house used to be. So, you know, I didn't know much about it. But the more in depth that I started digging into the documents, and I requested the documents from the county clerk's office requested that I purchase my interest out of the land. And I said, why would I purchase my interest out of land I own? So that didn't make sense to me. So I said, first of all, what I'd like to do is request all the documents that are pertaining to the Emmanuel Freeman estate. And once I got those documents, I started reading them. It took me maybe 3 months to read everything. And I started seeing there was like 60 deeds. And all these deeds belonged to different parties in the family. So then I said, okay, now I'm gonna have to figure out who is who. Because I thought we were all related as one family, which we are, but then I found out as I was reading the documents in the depositions state that Emmanuel Freeman Sr. and Emmanuel Freeman Jr. were the same people. So I started looking at the dates. I said, well, so I went to the Census Bureau because I needed to find out who was in the house at the time when they were growing up. So then I found out, okay, this is his son because he's only 4, and then Senior was on there as like 30 years old or something like that. So that's when I started putting things together. I said, okay, this is in 1940, this is in 1918 or whatever at that time. And then I went to the Mormon temple because I needed to get deeper. So I requested the microfiche. And then I went to the Library of Congress, and I just kept going deeper and deeper into the case and pulling out more documents. And I just found out a wealth of information for our family. And I thought that we should all, anybody that doesn't know about their family, you really need to take time to talk to that older person. And I do that on a regular. I talk to our older people in our family just to find out how they're doing, and also what went on in that day that we didn't know about. So that's how I found out more and more about the land. And the more I found out, the more I found out how many lies were in the documents.